So the last type of wall problem will be the investment problems. Think about this. Suppose you invested $1,000, okay? Say you put in the bank, and the interest rate, the annual interest rate is 5%, and you keep the money in the bank for 1 year. What will be the interest you got at the end of 1 year? Well, it'll be $1,000 times the interest rate 5% times 1 year. So 1,000 times 0.05, that will give you $50. So you got $50 as interest at the end of 1 year. Now this is called simple interest, okay? So simple interest is equal to the principal times the annual interest rate times the time, okay? The time here will be in the number year right here, okay? So principal is the amount of money that you invested, okay? So principal start with P, so we're going to use this letter P to represent that. Interest rate, the rate here start with R, that's R. Time here, we use T to represent. Simple interest, we use I to represent. So we got this formula, I equal to P times R times T. Simple interest equal to principal times rate times time, okay? Now in this example, we're going to talk about interest income, okay? So to protect against a major loss, a financial analyst suggested the following plan for a client who has $50,000 to invest for 1 year. So we have two types of plan. Plan one will be alco development that builds mini more, and it gives you 12% return per year, but it is risky, okay? It has high risk, okay? And another plan is put in a CD, certificate of deposit. This one here is safe. That give you 4.5% annual interest rate, okay? Now, if the client puts some money in each investment, okay, so the client decided to put this $50,000, we're gonna want a part of it in ALCO, part of it in CD, and the client want to earn $3,600 in interest after 1 year. How much should be invested at each way? So again, we're going to draw the diagram, try to understand what's going on. So this client has $50,000 to invest. There are two types of investment. One is in ALCO, the other one is in CD. And the return rate for this is 12% rate. For CD is 4.5% rate. And the question over here is how much you invest here and how much you invest over here in CD. Then the total interest will be $3,600. Okay. Now this is a wall problem. Again, we're going to follow the 4 step. Okay. So the first step here is to declare the variable. Okay, let X be. So we're looking for this one and this one. Whatever they're looking for, we're going to let X be one of them. Okay. So we're going to let X be the amount invested in one of them. Why not just pick the first one? So it will be the amount invested in ALCO. Okay. In ALCO over here. So now if this is X, what will be the amount in this CD that you invested, that the client invested? Well, some people will say, oh, why be that? Now, because we only want one variable now. So let's try to express this, instead of Y, can we express this in terms of X? Okay. Now, what do you observe about X and Y? X dollar plus Y dollar is $50,000. X plus Y is 50,000. So Y is equal to 50,000 subtracting this X. Okay. So this is the total. Total subtract this part, give you this part over here. So Y is equal to 50,000 subtracting X. So 50,000 subtracting X will be the amount invested in CD. CD. Okay. Now, declare the variable here worth 1 point. If you have done this, you already receive 1 point for this problem. The second step is equation. Now we try to get equation. For investment problem, remember the formula. Interest, simple interest equal to principal times rate times time. So we can try to make a table like this. So we're going to have the formula, we turn around the formula. So principal times rate times time give you the simple interest, I. Okay, we have two types of investment. One is ALCO, the other one is CD. What is the principal? What is the amount that you invested in ALCO? That is X, right? So let's write it down. So that is X, okay? Well, what is the amount that you invested in the CD? Well, which is Y, and Y is what? 50,000 subtracting X, right? So let's write it down. 50,000 subtracting X right here, okay? What will be this interest rate right here? For ALCO, it is 12%. And let's write that in decimal. Remember, when you have equation, it's easier to work with when you write the percentage in decimal. So that will be, let me write it down. So 12% is 0.12. So 0.12. What is the interest rate for the CD? It is 4.5%, which is 0.045. Okay. Now, what about the time T? Well, they say that invested in those investment for only 1 year, so it is just 1. So it will be just 1, 1, and 1. Now, the formula says principal times rate times time give you interest. So if you multiply X times this times 1, that will give you the interest you got from this investment right here. So you'll get 0.12 times X. Okay. So that is X times 0.12 times 1. This times this times this give you 0.12X. What about this? The certificate deposit. Well, that will be this times 1. So that will be 0.045 times this investment, which is 50,000 subtracting X. Okay. Right. Times 1 over here is not going to change this right here. So this is the interest. This times this times this, that's the interest. That's the interest you got from the CD after 1 year. Now, the total interest will be 306. So now the total interest was 3,000. Now the total interest will be $3,600. So if you add this with this, that will give you this. This is the interest you got from the investment in ALCO. Let's call that investment A. Let's call that interest A. That's the interest you got from the investment in ALCO. And this one here is, let's call that interest B. Let's call this interest B. That's the interest that you got from the investment in CD. Interest A plus interest B will equal to the total interest. So this, adding this give you 3,600. So we got the equation. Okay. Now we just need to solve it. Okay. To solve this equation, notice that we can get rid of the decimal point first. Now over here we have 3 digits after the decimal point. So we like to multiply both sides by 1,000. So multiply both sides by 1,000. 1,000 times this give you 120x. 1,000 times this, you're going to move the decimal point 1, 2, 3 places, and that will give you 45 times this. Remember, 1,000 times this give you 45. Okay, you don't use the 1,000 to times this anymore. You don't use this 1,000 to times this anymore. Now on this side, 1,000 times this. So you're going to add 3 more 0 here after 3,600, right? Okay. Now by doing this, the decimal, so we turn, by doing this, we clear the decimal Now by doing this, all of them will be integer coefficient. So all of them here will be integer. Now we're going to distribute this. Okay. So distribute over here, we got this. This side here is not changed. Now we're going to combine nitrogen. These two are nitrogen. These two subtract give you 75x. Now we want the number to be on the other side, so we subtract this on both sides. Subtract this on both sides. We get 75x equal to this. Now to isolate x, we divide both sides by 75. So divide both sides by 75. So this divide by 75 is going to equal to 18,000. So we have solved this. So x equal to 18,000. Now we're not done. The final step will be a complete sentence. Okay, so what a complete sentence? So 18,000 should be invested in ALCO. Okay, so this one here will be in ALCO. Okay, which is give you the 12% return rate. Okay, and then the other one here will be, well, remember the total investment was 5. Remember the total that you invest was, remember the total invested was 50,000. So the other investment will be 50,000 subtracting this. 50,000 subtracting 18,000 give you 32,000. So 32,000 should be invested at the 4.5 return rate investment, which is a CD. So this one here is in CD. Okay, now the problem is complete. You can check if you have, you can check if this is, we need the correct answer over here. Okay, by, you can actually check if this is correct. Okay, the annual interest on 18,000 is going to be the interest rate, which is 12% times the investment times the time 1. So this rate times P. So this interest rate times this investment here give you the interest, which is 2,160. Now what about the interest earned on the 32,000? Okay, that's the amount that you invested in the CD. So that's the interest rate times the amount invested. So 4.5% times this amount give you $1,440. Now if you add this interest and this interest together, so the total interest will be 3,600. So the results check. Okay, now you got it right. So that's the end of this third type of word problem. Now, as you do homework and when you have questions about those homework problems, we can go over them in class. Okay, all right, so that's the end of this lesson. Okay.